So, Amanda, the documents, this collection of prize papers, they finished, as far as we're concerned, in 1815. So, can you tell us about what happened to them from 1815 to 2018, when you start to work on them as a collaborative international project? What happens during those intervening 2 centuries? Where do these documents go? Who's interested or not in them? Where do they live?
Well, we think they went from Doctors' Commons as they ran out of space, basically. So it's a smallish court just south of St Paul's Cathedral. It actually closes in 1858 when they set up, the new systems of courts for things like divorce and stuff like that. So they physically have to go somewhere, and they go, as far as we're aware, to the Tower of London, and then they come to us. Later in the 19th century. And of course, we had a huge influx of records at that point, because we'd only just opened a new building in Chancery Lane. We didn't have a building before. We had lots of separate record offices, including the Tower of London. And once we've got a new building, it gets absolutely flooded with documents from all the various departments of government who realise they can get rid of their paperwork. So it comes to us, and for a long time, we can't really do anything more than just accept stuff and briefly catalogue it and put it on shelf. But I think the real cataloguing started, or attempts to really catalogue it, started in the 1930s, when people were interested in cataloguing the criminal material, first of all, because it's all about pirates and murder and that kind of interesting stuff. And some work started on the prize papers, but unfortunately the Second World War intervened. In the 1950s, it got picked up again by a retired gentleman who knew about these kind of things and was doing a really good job until he suddenly died. And so it got put aside again. We started picking it up in about 2005, when we had a contingent from the Royal Dutch Library wanted to come and investigate it. And they worked with a colleague of mine, Alistair Hanson. And they were really interested in what they found, and Alistair was really interested. And then, unfortunately, Alistair died. So I hope this is not a pattern. But anyway, we picked it up in about 2013, when there was increasing interest, and we knew that there was increasing interest because our collection care department, our conservators, kept getting asked, could you just open these unsealed letters, these unopened letters? Could you unseal them for us? And they were asking us, well, look, we've opened these letters, and now inside this packet of letters, there's 3 more letters. What do we do with them? Should we number them in a particular way? And we were a bit alarmed about this, because we'd never done anything like this. We're used to working with letters which are flattened, for example, and bound in volumes. And these were real live letters. And they're letters which have a life of their own. The paper wants to fold back on itself. So that was how we realised that there was something going on, that researchers were using these and we didn't really know about them. So we got in touch with the researchers and we found out more about what they wanted. And we ran a big conference here in 2014 called All at Sea, which was pretty much how we felt. And we learned a lot from the conference attenders. And one of them was Professor Dagmar Freist from the University of Oldenburg, who wanted to work with us. And she had a vision of not working on just German letters or just Spanish letters or just French letters. She wanted to work with a whole lot, because you could realise that here was kind of like the foundation for a real understanding of potentially of global history, of the history of Europe moving out across the Atlantic to the Americas, out into the Indian Ocean, as well as all the inter-European trade and the Mediterranean trade and the North Sea trade and the whaling. You can see there's just so much in there. And she was very fortunate in being able to get some 20 years worth of funding. And we are partners in the Prize Papers project. So TNA is providing curatorial staff to do the initial sort and cataloguing of the records. Dagmar's German funders are paying for conservation work here at TNA and really careful photography and digitization. And then the digitized images go over to Oldenburg and they're worked on in detail there by experts there who work with a large number of students, in fact. undergraduates and postgraduate students to catalogue absolutely everything. And so you'll be able to search for it in lots and lots of different ways on the prize papers portal. So really, we've gone from just storing them to investigating them to sending them back across the world in really quite a short space of time. And we've still got until 2037 to finish the project. So watch this space, come back and find out more.
Definitely will do. Thank you.